What's up, y'all? Welcome to Riffin with Griffin. Doing it in a hotel room this week. But first, I want to say visit ExpressVPN.com/Griffin, and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's ExpressVPN.com/Griffin for 3 free months. All right, let's start the show. Don't got this is my singing mic, but I'm on the road, so it's just a little bit of whoa, 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 whoa. Welcome to Riffin with Griffin. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. Riffin with Griffin. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. I didn't have an episode last week, man. I did not have an episode last week because I was in Canada. Yeah, I went to Canada. Shout out to Canada House of Comedy. They just got back to full capacity, and Canada. What a hassle to get into the country, man. Canada, this whole thing. You got to get this PCR COVID test to get into Canada. That costs money. Then you get there. Of course, you have to be vaccinated. And then to leave the country, you have to get another test, which was another $100-something. I feel like this is a racket, man. I feel like people are making money off the vaccine. These drug companies, they're making their money. And then now they're making this money off these COVID tests. You're just like, what the hell? So it's just such a hassle. It makes it where you just don't want to travel. But, when you have to travel for work, it is what it is. But even like a regular person, you barely scraping it together to get some money together to travel, to visit family, or whatever it is like that. And now you got to add an extra, almost $300 extra you have to add just to travel. It's a lot. It's a lot, man. So, but it was fine. The Canadian crowds were cool. Shout out to everybody out at the House of Comedy. I mean, it was cool. I'm going to Miami Improv this coming week, so check me out. You can go to ericgriffin.com, check out the schedule, and it is what it is. So come check me out there. I'm in Tampa now. Side Splitters was fine. A lot of fun shows I'm having out here in Florida. So I'm gonna be in Florida again next week. So let's see how that goes. But yeah, the travel, I feel like it's a racket. Like, excuse me, you need these things. It's kind of like insulin, okay? Insulin, people that need insulin, they need it. They have to have it. And people take advantage of that and they're price gouging it. But I don't think that insulin is bad, or they're doing something shady to come up with this, this stuff. And that's how I feel about the vaccines and taking the COVID tests. Like, those things in and of themselves, I think, are fine. But the way people profit off these things is what it just baffles my mind, man. Like, why do people have to make so much money off a necessity, off a thing that, you're trying to say is about health and safety, but just seems like a money grab. Seems like a big racket. It just ticks me off, man. I don't know. It just ticks me off. I'm not going to have a big, long episode this week. It's tough, like, living in these times, because my parents got COVID. I don't know how they got it. I don't know what happened. So, like, before I was going to Canada, it was like this whole thing, man, because so they got the COVID. They'd been quarantined for 10 days. And every time I talk to my stepfather, I feel like he didn't sound good. You know what I mean? And I didn't remember that he has asthma, and he's prone to getting pneumonia and that kind of stuff. So I had completely forgot about that. But they're vaccinated. My mom didn't show any symptoms at all, which was dope. But my mom got dementia. So then I get a call. Like, it's a day before I'm about to leave to go to Canada, and it's a whole big rigmarole. I just got the COVID test. I'm getting myself prepared. You have to have a passport. And then another thing too, when you go to Canada, you have to there's this extra app where you have to fill out all this information, upload vaccination, all this stuff that you have to have this extra, it's called Air Can or whatever it's called, something can. When I got to Canada, they were supposed to scan it. Nothing. They didn't ask for it. It wasn't even a thing, coming or going. So that pissed me off. So anyways, I'm going on this trip. I'm ready to go on the trip. And then I get a call from my stepfather. He's like, Eric, he's like, listen, I'm in the hospital. Like, he went to the doctor because he wasn't feeling well, and then the doctor assessed him and was like, we got to take you to the emergency room. So now my stepfather's in the emergency room with lingering effects of COVID. My mom's by herself with dementia, and she thinks, like, she thinks she's going to go home to, she's waiting for him to, come take me home, even though she's home. It's just a whole thing. So now I'm trying to decide, oh, man, what do we do? I don't necessarily want to go over there and like be with my mom, considering she might. I'm not trying to get COVID, right? But at the same time, it's your mom. What the hell do you do? It's so difficult. So they actually have, where they live, they have like some services available. Like there's a contractor that you could get, and they have these people that come in, and a lot of people at the place where my parents live, they use this service. It's by the hour, and you can like have someone come in and help. And I didn't know this, but my stepfather's used it before. He had to go get surgery, and I think I was out of town, and he had somebody come watch, and and she's actually fine with these people. She don't even really understand what's going on, so she's just kind of like, oh, this is cool. Here's a person here. Hey, how you doing? And she in her mind might be thinking, oh, this is my girlfriend, so and so, and so. I'm still nervous. I'm not sure what's the right thing to do. Like, what is the right thing to do? Do I cancel the trip? I just cancel the trip, but I just have a problem with that too, just because of how I am. I think I believe in living up to your responsibilities. I believe in like finishing, doing, when you have obligations, you should fulfill them. No matter what's going on, if you can do it, you should do it. You could find a way. You don't have to always hide behind the excuses of like, well, it's a family emergency or it's this or that. I think you could find ways to do things. It's just the way I am. It's no right or wrong. There's people out there who are like, it's always family first, and you like drop everything. And I understand that sentiment too. But I'm about looking at the whole picture and being like, how can I accomplish all these things? Because everything is important. But anyways. The lady comes and she's with her, and then, I go visit. I have to go visit her. I go visit him because I want to give him his phone charger. And then, I get my mom's phone, and she don't even have the phone on. She got 3 purses. She got a purse in a purse in a purse with a wallet, and her phone's in a thing, and it's not even on. It don't even work. So I have to turn the phone on. And then it's just like I look at the phone, and it just makes me sad because, like, I go to like the app. I go to like the contact app for my mom to contact, because I try to type in my number, and it looks as if I'm not even in her phone. And so I look at my contact, I look at my number, oh, it is a contact. But what happened was in the name section, like where it says first name, there's this whole long paragraph of writing my mom did, like as if she was sending me a message, but in the contact app. So that made me super sad. Like, it just reminded me once again about how, like, when people get dementia and this kind of stuff, they're not all there. They just don't have the understanding of what's going on. So I'm reading my mom's contacts, and I'm just heartbroken, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, she can't even. Let me not get emotional. Anyways. So I fixed the phone up. I erased some contacts that shouldn't be there, I feel like, and I charge her phone because I want her to have her phone, just also just to have it on for the location. Like, I want to track her if I need to. If she decides I'm going to walk, take your phone, and then maybe I could track her, So, but she seems to be fine. She was in good spirits. I had to write down on a piece of paper. I wrote down, Mike is in the hospital. He's not feeling well. Stay put. He'll be back in a few days. It's okay. Trust me. It's Eric, And then she kept, hey, is Michael laying down? She kept saying that. Is he in the other room? I was like, no, Ma, look at this note. And she kept reading the note. And then eventually it was like, she was like, oh yeah, Mike's in the hospital. Ooh, she was like, oh, that's not good, And then, but I felt like she got it, So then I went to go visit Mike, and then I'm checking. I call, nobody answers the phone. Now the nurse is there now. A caregiver is there, and so nobody's answering the phone. So then I have to turn around and go back. You know what I mean? Like, I turn around and go back, and then I find out that they had just gone down to the cafeteria, and they took her for a walk and this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm calling the next day to see. She's like, hey, everything's fine, and I'm like, all right. I felt like she was good, Then now I had to check on my stepfather, and he's laid up in the hospital, but he just needed to get oxygen because and antivirals and antibiotics, and because they were worried that he was going to get some sort of viral infection and get pneumonia. Like, it wasn't life threatening in terms of like the COVID, but it was this lingering stuff. And so I'm sitting here just like, and then you have to have this kind of like frank discussion. My stepfather, he's like 30-year Navy Reserve, and he's a good dude, really good dude. I love him a lot for just who he is and what he's done for my mom. But he's sitting here and he's telling me, like, he wants to have the discussion. Like, look, I want to be cremated. I don't want a big service or anything like that. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh man, dude, like, this is what you have to deal with. You get to an age where either your parents can handle it and they want to talk about it. They're going to tell you, hey, here's the life insurance policy. Here's where it is. Here's where all the stuff is. He was just having this frank discussion with me about, like, look, here's where the life insurance stuff is. Here's this and that, and it really, like, my heart went out to him just because, like, how practical he could be. And even, like, when I was calling him, I'm at the place and he's like, I go, what about our medications, And he's laid up in the hospital with tubes in his thing, and he's on the phone with me going, okay, on the first shelf to the left is her medication for this, her medication for that. And I'm just like, damn, this dude is like straight up taking care of my mom, and I felt a little guilty, because I'm out here living my life trying to do stuff, and it's just hard for me. Like, if I'm being 100, it's hard, and I feel like sometimes I avoid it. I'm avoiding it because, I'm an only child, single parent. It's been my mom my whole life. See, okay. Y'all gonna have me up here crying on my podcast. I guess we laugh so we don't cry. But anyways, it's just one of those things. So we sitting here having this discussion about it, and I just know I'm put in this situation where, like, I have to take care of it. I know this. Like, I know his wishes. He said to me, if they have to use a defibrillator, I want them to use it one time and that's it. And I'm like, damn. He, like, straight up, like, he don't want to be a burden. He's just like, boom. So I'm just like, all right, I know their wishes. I know my mom's like this too. She don't want to be on a machine. You know what I mean? So I just go, okay, so I have to take on that, And I'm like, okay, it's cool. But, it's like all these things you have to think about that is tough. And it's like, something like COVID slaps into your life, and it's like it just propels you into different stratosphere of thinking. And it's not necessarily the cause, like, again, if you have pre-existing conditions like asthma and this kind of stuff, something like COVID doesn't help, and it's going to take you down a dangerous road. But there's other things too, like, he's got to lose some weight, and he's got to get him, he's got to try to be as healthy as he can so he can have a great quality of life for the rest of his life, So, that happened, but I actually ended up going on the trip because I felt, again, to get back to it, it wasn't life-threatening, and he was like, they just were keeping him there for precautions. He wanted to make sure that he was getting oxygen. So now he has the oxygen machine. So he's telling me, like, I'll be home by Friday. The people are very great that work with my mom. And so it was like, all right, I think we're good. So I went on a trip, and I just was calling, talking to him, talking to her. And it worked out. I went on a trip because you have to compartmentalize, man. When you have responsibilities, you have to compartmentalize, because if you're thinking about everything all the time, it's just overwhelming and you won't even know what to do with yourself. Sometimes you have to realize that all of these things are separate and the only connection is you, but they are all separate and they can be dealt with separately. Some things could be like a huge, it's like, pressing issue, but other things are not. But just because one is pressing, it doesn't mean they're all pressing. And you have to remember that. Just take one step at a time and try to figure out how to handle, your business. Because it could be, like I say, man, it's like these times right now, it's just daunting. It can be overwhelming. So I felt like we had, like, once I got past the initial, like, what the hell am I going to do? And I was thinking the worst. I calmed myself down, and it was like, all right, now I got to, when these things come up now, we got to take it one step at a time and just, like, sort of relax. And that actually brings me into one of our sponsors for today, which is BetterHelp, BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com/Griffin. Let me get my iPad out over here for you guys because I'm on the road. So there's a lot of things like, BetterHelp always talks about what interferes with your happiness. Well, what interferes with your day to day? What are those things that you having trouble dealing with, and whatever stresses and anxieties, and I highly recommend therapy, man. I mean, they really will point you sometimes in a directions you weren't even thinking of. And it really just helps you process the feelings that you have. Like, get in touch with your feelings. Why are you depressed? Why do you have stress? How does it make you feel to have anxiety? What's going on in your relationship? How does it make you feel? And then you can just really get to the root of it. And this person will help you navigate. It's convenient, it's professional, it's affordable. And they have so many. They're getting new therapists in the program every single day. It's not a crisis line. It's not even self-help. Guys, it's a professional counseling done securely online. Anything you share is confidential. It's convenient, it's professional, it's affordable. So, like I say, guys, I want you to start living a happier, healthier life today. And as a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/Griffin. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. That's betterhelp.com/Griffin for 10% off your first month. All right, cool. What else did I want to talk about? Let me put this over here so you guys don't see it. Thank you for listening, everybody. Make sure you catch me daily on Twitch. I'm still doing that a lot. Twitch.com, twitch.tv/Erik Griffin Gaming. So check me out on that. I'm doing that all the time. I also wanted to talk about a couple of movies that I saw. So I'm going to do my best not to spoil, but there might be some spoilers. But I don't know. Let's talk about. I saw The Eternals. All right, this Marvel movie, The Eternals. Let me look it up here so I could just see. Let me just see what. Let's look at some stuff. Yeah. Okay. So it stars a bunch of people, man. It stars a bunch of people. I didn't know Harry Styles was in there. Yeah, Angelina Jolie, Kit Harington, Salma Hayek. Just a lot of different types of people too. And it's like the next phase of the Marvel universe, all right? And they're trying to launch into something else. And this is like, they have this great backstory and all this stuff about the Eternals. So the Eternals are these like, eternal, powerful beings who are, were sent here by this celestial sort of godlike figure that, is watching over Earth and making sure that these evil creatures don't devour the Earth. That's what you're led to believe. And these Eternals are there until they're taken away. And so they've been there apparently 7,000 years. All right. So, and then it's, overall, I thought the movie was okay. I didn't think it was great. It was no end game. It wasn't like that. But, I felt like, this is a great jumping off point for the next phase of what they're going to do in the Marvel universe. Obviously, everything's still connected. They're still going to like draw people in from the TV shows, from the other movies, leading up to some big thing again, And so, the story's great. I mean, the actors were great. I thought the performances were great, but the movie didn't blow me away. But I do recommend watching it, especially if you're an MCU fan. All right, now let's talk about, this is a very nuanced discussion I'm about to have, okay? It's very, like, the thing about the Eternals, when I'm watching it, and I know, look, you're either, I don't know where you are in your mind state, all right? Some of us are still like I'm older. I'm almost 50. So, I remember a time when people talked about race a lot, where race was a factor in everything. And then I have this ethnic mom, this immigrant woman from another place comes to the United States, and she dealt with a lot of racism. She did. She dealt with a lot of also being a woman and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So I'm a person that I still notice these kinds of things. So the change in society that's happening right now hasn't been normalized. So therefore, I'm still one of these people that I notice when it's not like it normally is. And, when you look at TV, for my whole life, you look at TV, it's predominantly white. Everything's white. Every show you watch, most of the stars are white. There's occasionally, whatever. You have some other shows. You have your Martins. You have your, The Wire. You have these shows where there are other types of people in the shows, but they stand out because they're so few and far between. So we just get used to, like, when I grew up, it was Bewitched. It was I Dream of Jeannie. It was Leave It to Beaver. It was just so many. It was like, so you just look at that and you go, oh, well, TV is supposed to be white. It's just what you're just used to it, And when you're a person of color, you have to enjoy it because there's nothing else to enjoy. So I liked Seinfeld and Friends and Frasier and all these shows, but I also enjoyed Martin and In Living Color and other shows. But I still of the mindset state that, I'm used to things being a certain way. So the reason why I say that is when it's not like that, sometimes you kind of get like, whoa, what's going on? And that's because it's not normalized. Now, you could be like me and you go, I'm a comic too, so I overanalyze everything. So, I see this and I might be like, oh, here we go. Here they're trying to the diversity for the sake of diversity. So that's sometimes where I come from. I come from this like, why, oh, you're just making things diverse just to make people feel good. And I started to think about that to be like, well, there's actually nothing wrong with that. It's been normal to think that like, Superman is supposed to be white, Why? What? He's supposedly from a distant planet, but he's still white? Like, he don't have to be white. You can make Superman anybody. He can be anybody you want. But, and once that becomes normal and we don't even look at it like that, that's when we'll be able to advance more in society. But right now, we still notice those kinds of things, just being honest, Just being honest. It don't even have to be racial things, man. I was watching the commercial the other day for Huggies, and the baby had glasses. What? Like, even I wear glasses, and I thought this was bullshit. It made me feel like they were having a board meeting, and somebody was like, should we have a white baby? And someone in the back was like, glasses? And they were like, good one, there you go. I mean, it just felt like that. But it doesn't mean it was that. That's just how I interpreted it, And so right now, again, there's a big push. You see a lot of Asian stuff now, even though it's been around for a long time. I love a lot of Korean movies and all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But now it's like there's like a push. It's being more like we're going like, oh, let's appreciate this. And it shouldn't be an issue. Like when you see an Asian woman in a movie, it shouldn't be like, ooh, it's an Asian woman, but if you feel like that, you're not there yet. We're just not evolved yet. There are some people, younger people, who might look at stuff and don't even think about this ever. It's not even an issue. They're just looking at it and they might be like, oh, I don't think she's a good actress, or, oh, I don't think that's the right casting. And they're never thinking about race and that kind of stuff. And good for you. I think that's where we're all trying to get, but it's just not normalized yet. All right. That being said, when I watch The Eternals, I get the impression that Disney is trying to put out an agenda. It didn't feel natural to me for a lot of reasons. One, because of all the social issues that have been going on. And two, I'm a nerd that I have to be able to suspend my disbelief. And if I see some nonsense on the screen, I don't care about race, none of that stuff. I'm going to point that out. I'm at war with these 2 points right now. And that's where I'm saying it's a nuanced discussion. Because on one side, it's like they got a gay black guy, 2 Asians, a deaf girl, a Latino, Arab, someone of like sort of Arab descent. It's like, you want to talk about a hodgepodge, man. I was like, I saw this and I was like, okay, what are we doing? What's going on here? All right. So then you just kind of go, you have a feeling of like, okay, Disney, I see what you're trying to do. And then there was a whole thing about like, they didn't let the Eternals was not allowed in certain countries around the world because there's a gay kiss in the movie. A black gay kiss too, by the way. So that's an added layer. And so there were certain Arab countries that were like, you need to edit it. And then, Marvel, Disney's like, nah, we're not going to edit it. So, you have that issue, but you just kind of go, okay, I get it. Are you making a statement or whatever the thing you're trying to do? All right, you did it. You put out the movie, you put these people in it. All right. Now, the nerd part of me is like, what? Like the nerd part of me, guys, the nerd part of me is the Eternals are 7,000 years old, right? Why is Selma Hayek talking in a Latino accent that hasn't been invented yet? I couldn't get past that. I couldn't get past they're here on Earth for 7,000 years in prehistoric times, the beginnings of civilization, and she talking in a modern ass Latino accent. I mean, I know that's her accent. I'm just saying, I'm looking at her as this figure in the movie. I know it's Selma Hayek, and that's who she is. But I'm saying, for this movie, was that the best casting? That's where I'm going with it. Where I was kind of like, what? Why? Like, I don't get why this celestial being made these people like this. Like, why did he create them like this? Was there a thought process? He was like, okay, we're going to make this one black, and this one's going to be like, it kind of took me out of it. The nerd in me, it took me out of it. And so I couldn't really wrap my brain around it or feel good about it. I just was constantly thinking about that, and so that's on me, that's on me being like I say, being a nerd. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't mean, it doesn't mean like this is right what I'm saying or it just, I'm just pointing out that we're just at a time right now where we're at a crossroads, and maybe in 10 years, this won't be an issue, no matter who's in the movie, whether they're transgender, black, white, whatever it is. Even if something's all white, we'll look at it and be like, oh, this makes sense. We're not going to be sitting here in the crowd being like, oh, man, another all white thing. Because I'm not like that. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, this should be all white because this is a show about people living in a certain place. They all white there. Let's be accurate. Like, I'm talking about artistic integrity. I believe in that first as an artist myself. So sometimes it's hard when these social issues come in and get in the way of the art. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about with that. But that being said, I still think it was an enjoyable movie. I'll watch it again when it's on, it'll be on Disney Plus. I'll watch it again like that. I thought it was really enjoyable. Still to me right now, the most enjoyable movie I've seen in a long time was Dune. Like when I was in Canada, I went and watched it again in the theater, and it's such a great theater experience. So I do highly recommend you go see that and go see the Eternals. All right, go see the Eternals. That's my little rant on the Eternals. Okay, guys, now I want to talk about my sponsor, my new sponsor. It's my new sponsor. What is my new sponsor? ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN. It's like, when you're searching for something online and you don't want, prying eyes, you get ExpressVPN. I know what most of you are probably thinking, why don't you just use incognito mode? And I do be using incognito mode sometimes, only just because, when you close whatever you were looking at, it's gone, right? But incognito mode does not hide your activity. It doesn't matter what mode you use or how many times you clear your browser history. And so if you want to just browse privately without people getting all on you, ExpressVPN is the way to go. It doesn't matter who your internet service provider is. ISP is in the U.S., can legally sell your information to ad companies. So that sucks. Another reason to use ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection to your secure servers so your ISP can't see the sites you visit. ExpressVPN also keeps all of your information secure by encrypting 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption available. All right. So protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by CNET. Visit my exclusive link, expressvpn.com/Griffin, and get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/Griffin. expressvpn.com/Griffin to learn more. Back to the show. All right. So the next movie that I saw, and I saw this out in Canada too, that I wanted to talk about, was the new 007. I think it's Time to Kill. I think that's what it's called. Let me look it up. Time to Kill. Is that what it is? No Time to Kill, or is it No Time to Kill? Yeah, I think it's No Time to Kill. No, right? Which one is it? What am I saying right? Like you guys are? We're not live. No Time to Die. That's what it is. Oh, it just felt like they're all, yeah. No Time to Die, guys. No Time to Die, and this is the last of Daniel Craig's time as 007. And let me see and so I want to talk about, how I feel about this. Let me actually go to Daniel Craig because I want to see all of the James Bond movies that he's done. Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera here, guys. No Time to Die. It was, I don't know, man. I don't know. So, let's see. You had 2006 Casino Royale. I believe that was his first Bond appearance, right? Yeah, I think it was his first Bond appearance. That was a great movie, But sometimes all the James Bond movies kind of like blend into each other, and it's hard to. It's like Family Guy, where all the cutaways you don't even remember what episode, you just remember all the cutaways. That's how I feel about these Bond movies. I've been watching James Bond movies my whole life. My favorite James Bond is still Roger Moore. I liked Roger Moore. And, the Jaws, the guy with the gold teeth was his, big nemesis. I liked Roger Moore. And then my mom loved Sean Connery. That was her favorite James Bond. And I didn't like the guy after that. I forgot his name. But then like the dude from Remington Steele, he was great. Pierce Bronson. But he was always supposed to be James Bond but he couldn't get out of his Remington Steele contract. And then he finally did it. But at that point, it was like, whatever, So, I don't know. Like I say, I'm really trying to decide. Maybe I should look up like the James Bond movies in order. James Bond movies. Let's see if they have like James Bond movies in chronological order. Oh, they do actually. This is actually great. Yeah, wow. Okay, yeah. So Die Another Day was Pierce Bronson's last one. Okay, so then Casino Royale was 2006. That was a good one. Then there's Quantum of Solace, which was 2008. And then they started to do this thing where like it was like the movies were sort of like sequels. See, I like the James Bond movies where they're just standalone. It's like, here's a world-killing villain who we have to like, James Bond needs to stop. And, he's got gadgets and there's beautiful women. And, the world changed. So now it's this whole thing now where it's like, let's not make these women objects. And we always have to make them, something great about them. And I'm all for that. It's fine, but it's like a throwback to the old movies. It's like, I don't even know what to even say about that. I mean, it is what it is. Like I have no problem with women being beautiful on screen. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like if that's what they are on screen, that's what they are on screen, because regardless of how strong or powerful you want to make the woman on screen, she ain't ugly. Okay. Let's just be 100. So all this, you can say whatever you want about how you want to portray women. They always fine on screen. Okay. When in these kinds of roles. So it is what it is. All you're doing is making them better. We're looking at them. We're still looking at them the same. We're just like, damn, she's fine. And she can kick people's ass, It's like you just adding to the love affair. But like, let's not act like you're doing something all like, oh, it ain't a fat Bond chick, okay? It ain't a chick with a lazy eye or a pimple on her forehead. They still baddies, all right? Let's just be real. So, you got Skyfall where they had this like Spectre, it was like they're connected. I'm not a fan of the connecting of the movies. I couldn't follow the plot. I didn't know what the hell was going on. It was like to me it was like too dramatic, and this is how this movie was too, by the way. Even though it was kind of both. Like this No Time to Die kind of had a throwback Bond feel to it. The gadgets, the stunts, it really had a throwback feel to it for Daniel Craig's final James Bond movie. But it just, I don't know. It was missing something. And I think that what it is this, it was this story that was hard to follow. I don't know why there was this like shadow organization that in this movie just vanishes, by the way. Like how they got rid of it, I was like, you did all that and now they're just gone. And now there's like a supervillain played by what's his name? Remy Malco. Remy, is that how you say his name? Yeah, Rami Malek I don't know. Ramimalek. You know, he's from Mr. Robot. He won an Oscar for the Queen movie. He was great in it though. He was actually a really great actor. He's a really great actor. Everybody was pretty good in this movie. Like everybody was good. You know, that's what I'm saying. It was a serviceable movie. The action was great. Daniel Craig was at his best. You know, he's actually a really great actor too. They all were really great actors. It's just the story was like, meh. You know, it was meh. You know, I don't even want to. You know, it's hard to even give anything away because if you've been following the other Bond movies, you know about this shadow specter, and then they captured the leader, and he's in prison now, and somehow he's still involved, and it just they really reached on this story, sort of like it's like a lot of this backstory about the James Bond's girl, you know, played by Léa Seydoux. I don't even know how to say her name. I hope I'm saying her name right, but you know, yeah, she's dope. And she, you know, it's kind of more about her story. And then they got a new 007. You know, they got this new 007 played by Lashana Lynch. So Lashana Lynch is the new 007 in this movie. You know, they call her, you know, because Daniel Craig's his James Bond sort of retired for all the stuff he did in the last two movies with this Spectre nonsense. So now she's the new 007. So I thought to myself, wait a minute. Is this how you're introducing the next James Bond's movies? So you've decided to go with a black woman as the new 007. And does that mean James Bond is gone? Like, I don't know how to do it. You know, I wasn't sure if they were retiring James Bond or if they're totally going into a new era that the 007 is going to be represented by this badass black woman. And she's dope. But at the same time, you go, what was I saying before about the Eternals? It's one of those things where you have to wrap your brain around it. Like, are you progressive and you're like, ooh, she's great and this is going to be good? Or are you one of these people like me that's a little cynical where you're just kind of like, oh, really? You're going to have a black woman be James Bond now? Okay, I see what you're doing. So I'm trying to get out of that mode, not necessarily be fully on board on the other mode and just kind of look at it. Because there's also the nerd in me that has to look at the artistic side of it, and I just go, do I like this or not, and why don't I like it? And so, you know, it gets you down a rabbit hole of thinking about stuff, and that's what sucks about it, you know? That's what sucks about the world right now. So hopefully all this shit will be normalized, and we won't think about this in the future, but I don't know if I'm a fan of this moving forward. I don't know if that's what they were doing. They're going to be like, well, this is now, and then they're going to call it James Bond? Like, what are they going to call it? Is it going to be 007 something? Is she going to be Jamila Bond? You know what I mean? Bond. Jamila Bond. I actually would like that. If her name was Jamila. I'm on my Tanqueray and Coke. Shaken, not stirred. I mean, maybe that'll work. So we'll see. So she's in there, and it's like, you know, she's kind of fighting with James Bond because she's trying to prove herself that she's the best 007. So, you know, you got to, again, it's worth watching. And I thought in the end how they get rid of Daniel Craig, I thought it was well done. I thought it was nicely done. I thought it was a great moment in the movie. I was emotional. I was like, oh, they did their job. Anytime I'm in a movie and I get emotional, I'm like, all right, this is good. Am I supposed to be emotional right here? That's great. No matter how shitty the movie is, you can't move people to emotion. So this was one of those, you know, this was one of those moments, you know, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know if this is a good review or not, guys. I don't know how you feel about this review, but I guess I'm going to give it. Oh, and I got my rating system now, guys. I just figured that out too. So I got my rating system that we're going to do for the movie. We're going to give them woo-woos. Okay? So for the Eternals, out of 5, I'm giving the Eternals 3.5 woo-woos. Woo, 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 woo. There we go. So they get 3.5 woo-woos for the Eternals. And I thought James Bond, it's another 3 out of 5 for me too. So woo, 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 woo. Maybe the other one needed another woo. Woo for the half. There you go. But we'll figure it out. So we got 3 woos for James Bond and 3.5 for Eternals, because I really love the Disney universe, the MCU, the Marvel universe. So we'll see where that is going. So what else? Rachel and I have a wedding day planned. It's in June. It's gonna be in June. So we went and saw the place that we want to do it. It's this really nice place. I won't tell you where, but it's nice. She wanted me to go. I wanted to go too, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, this is really great." I saw like where she's gonna want to take pictures and how it's gonna look, and it felt good. But you know what happens when you like actually set a date. I think we both were a little nervous after that. There was like I think we had a little tension between us because this big daunting thing that we're headed towards is now. It's solidified and we're moving towards it. So, there's a lot of things you have to think about. I think we're going to do some couples therapy, and I think that's healthy to do that kind of stuff. But I'm excited about it. I'm excited. I already feel like our life is already I already feel like we're living our life. That's the thing, So this is a very symbolic gesture, a very celebration of love and relationship and companionship. That's what a wedding, I guess, is, And so I'm excited to do that because she really wants to do it too, and I like making her happy, and so like she wanted this light machine. I don't know what it's like a blue light machine that you go to the thing and you get, and she was like, I want this, and it was so expensive, but I was like, you know what, I'm doing all right. Let me get my girl this light machine. You know what I mean? She like you put it over your face, and then like she's like, I'm doing it every day, and it's like it's supposed to take away pimples and help with aging and pain, and it's supposed to do all this kind of stuff that I'm gonna use it too, But sometimes you got to do that kind of stuff, and I'm just saying it because I like doing that kind of stuff, the big gestures and the little gestures, because I like seeing a smile on her face. I just like seeing that joy that. Whatever this thing that I'm doing for her, that she really appreciates it, And when you have somebody like that truly appreciates you and what you do, it just encourages you to do more things like that. Especially if you are a giver, if you're a giver and you get joy out of giving, I like being around someone that's not ashamed of, getting joy out of receiving and having appreciation. So it's really good in a relationship when you have that sort of thing going on. But anyway, guys, short episode this week because I'm out. Like, as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm in this weird corner of my hotel room, and it's like I did this on my iPhone too, by the way. I did bring my mic and my H6 Zoom, and I got my my mic and all, so because I wanted the sound to sound good. But who knows if it's even gonna sound good? But I had to do an episode. I didn't do one last week. My first episode off in 150 something weeks. I was like, you know what? I deserve a break. I deserve to not have one. So, but I'm back, and this is how I usually do it. I'm gonna do it regardless. Just last week was just, you don't know how hectic it was with the Canada travel, but so I'm back this week, and I did this all on my iPhone. So shout out to Apple and iPhone for having such a good product that you could do something like this on it. Once again, I'll be in the Miami Improv next week. If you're listening to this like later, like because this is on the internet, you missed it. What else? Again, I'm on Twitch. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Erik Griffin. So check me out on Twitch. I'm on there most days. What else? Oh, King of the Sting too. I'm like, they announced it. I'm in the new intro song. Me and Stevie Weeby. We're permanent people on King of the Sting. So check me out on King of the Sting, and also check me out on Gen to Gen. That's my other podcast. So we got Gen to Gen, King of the Sting, Riffin with Griffin, Erik Griffin Gaming. I'm out here, people. I'm out here trying to make content and bring the entertainment, and I'm also on the road a lot. So check me out on my schedule, erikgriffin.com. I have dates coming up there. Because again, I'm going to be in Miami. I'm going to be at the La Jolla Comedy Store. I'm going to be in LA. If you're in the Burbank area, I'm going to be at a club called Flappers. So come check me out there. Then in the beginning of the year, I'm going back to Canada. I'm going to Edmonton. So make sure you come and check all that out. But shout out again to the King of the Sting crew, Brendan and Theo, for inviting me in because they wanted my whatever I brought to it. And, and shout out to all the fans that have actually come to the shows. Like, y'all showing up at the shows, man, and I just want you to know I appreciate that. He's King and His Thing fan. Of course, Riffin with Griffin fans, love y'all. Y'all great. The hardcore Riffin with Griffin people, I know who you are. Thank you. But I'm just telling you, these new people that are coming from King and His Thing, they're coming out. They're coming and they're walking up to me, letting me know, thank you for what you do. I love you on King and His Thing. And they come and they spending money, and I appreciate them. So that's dope. So we're going to keep the train rolling, keep it moving. And, I got some guests coming. But again, I'm going to be doing this solo. And then also, make sure you check out the Fireside app. Check out Fireside Chat app. You can look at it in the App Store, because I'm doing this thing with Rachel because it's called I Hate My Boyfriend's Couch, and it's just a relationship show where Rachel and I talk about stuff like that. When your girl hates your furniture, how do you deal with it? It's just an overall theme for like the things we'll be talking about. So sometimes it'll be I hate my boyfriend's farts, I hate my boyfriend's clothes, and it's just a matter of like, how do you discuss those kinds of things with your significant other? So look out for that on the Fireside Chat, and I'm gonna try to get those videos up on YouTube. But something was happening with the app. I would go live on the app and it would be on YouTube, but then when it closed, the thing went private, and I couldn't make it unprivate because it was some kind of terms and conditions. It was like a weird thing, so they're working that out. But thanks for all the people that were watching that live on YouTube. Make sure you check it out again on the Fireside app. So once again, this is Riffin with Griffin. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate the loyalty, and I will see you next week.